Okay, so we need to talk about Martha. I've been to see Batman vs Superman twice, and the first time I really liked it, although I thought it had quite a few faults. The second time, I loved it. Some of the things that I'd had a problem with the first time round were actually due to me not taking it in properly. Second time round, a lot of the things that I needed to see, I actually took in. The first time I saw it, I felt like it washed over me, and I didn't really connect any dots or put things together in the way that I should have. So my first instance would be, if you're a bit on the fence about the film and you've seen it, you might want to see it again. As you've probably guessed, this video will have spoilers for Batman vs Superman Dawn of Justice in it. I don't really make YouTube videos, but I feel quite strongly about this film, and unfortunately, so do a lot of other people, but in the opposite camp. I'm very positive on this film, and there's a lot of negativity about it on the internet at the minute, and it obviously, as we all know, received some pretty harsh reviews. So I feel it's important that I should balance the books a little bit, and I felt like I should contribute to the positive side and express why I enjoyed this film. But really, I decided to make a video because one of the major criticisms about this film that everyone seems to share, the plot point that stops Batman and Superman being adversaries to do with their mother's name, is a weak point. And I would argue that this is absolutely not the case. A lot of people have complained that just because their mums have got the same name, that it wouldn't stop them fighting. And I think the point has been lost slightly. Did we just become best friends? Yup. It's made clear to us that this film was made for the express purpose of people who read comic books and who already know both Superman and Batman, as well as the other characters, very intimately. So we don't have to have their behaviour explained for us or justified, because we already know who they are, what they're about, which you may argue is a bad point of the film because it's not accessible to the normal, everyday cinema-going audience, but nobody said that that had to be the case. Let's preface this and say I'm also a very big Marvel fan. I don't read Marvel comics, but I love most of their films. Captain America films specifically, I am a big Cap fan. I think it's fine to like both. It's fine to like one and not the other. It's fine to like both, but there's no reason to be a dick about it. Let's not be dicks. You know, if Superman and Cap met, they shake hands and talk and be nice to each other. They wouldn't be dicks and say horrible things like most Marvel and DC fans do on the internet. What Marvel does not have to be the only way to tackle creating a comic book universe on a big screen. No, this is not a rule book that everyone has to follow. This is Marvel's rule book for their films, and their films are great. Now, DC, and Zack Snyder in particular, I think, have taken a risk. BvS is so blatantly a film for comic book readers, and like I say, people who already know these characters intimately. It throws you in, it doesn't care if you can't keep up, and it's unapologetic about it. If you don't know what's going on, the film doesn't care. I like that. Because I'm a DC comic book reader, I liked it, and I enjoyed it. Now, like I say, the main criticism that I found that people have with the plot of this film is the Martha point. Why would both of their mums, coincidentally having the same name, suddenly mean that Batman isn't angry with him anymore? The point is, it's not about the name. It's got nothing to do with what the name is. Superman saying the name Martha at the point where Batman has a spear of kryptonite over his chest and is about to kill him. Batman is about to kill Superman at this point. That's quite frightening and quite unnerving for a Batman fan to see, because it's very cold and very ruthless. So when Superman breaks through this moment with the name Martha, Batman is snapped out of his fever of wanting to end Superman. That the name of his mother just brings him out of this. And then Lois obviously comes to Superman's side and answers Batman's question, why is he saying that name? And she tells him that's his mother's name. And all of a sudden, Batman reconnects with Superman on a level that he hasn't before. All Batman has seen when he's looked at Superman up until this point is a weapon, an alien weapon of destruction that's come to Earth uninvited and is now bringing threat to Batman's world. It's a fear from Batman that's already been justified because of the events of Man of Steel. Batman's lost people and he's witnessed firsthand this destruction that's been brought by this alien. The fact that Batman refers to Superman as not a man a few times up until this point in the film is really important. You're not brave, men are brave. Now, he's learned that Superman's got a mother. Superman says they've got Martha. You're gonna let Martha die. And some people have questioned, why doesn't he say they've got my mum? And I think the reason for this is because if Superman was to just say mother or mum, Batman, knowing that Superman is an alien, might just assume he's talking about his kryptonite mother. And Batman's not going to give two fucks about another kryptonite at this point, when he's in the middle of this fever of wanting to kill Superman and end this. He's not going to give two shits about a Kryptonian. On saying Martha, Superman is making Batman aware of this person, this other human like Batman, who is in trouble. And Batman is just suddenly able to see Superman as a human, almost, as a man, as a person who has human relationships and has a mother. If you don't have a grounding of Batman and Superman up until at this point, if you don't know them because you've not read comics, you've not watched animated series, whatever, animated films, you've not been engrossed in them like some of us nerds have, you're not going to get that this is a big deal. Zack Snyder's planted a few little hints, like obviously we have the opening credit scene with the death of his parents, which we've all seen a million times, but I actually really like the way Zack Snyder did it in this film, with the infamous dropping pearls, making his mother a bit more of a bigger deal than his father at the beginning, just to plant that seed. And then obviously we get Batman's nightmare, where he visits his mother's grave, and you very clearly see her name, Martha Wayne, and he's planting flowers. And then the grave starts bleeding and a bat attacks him in his nightmare. So he's planted a few little seeds about Martha, but as a Batman fan, at that point you go, oh my god, he's just realised that Superman has a human connection. And then Batman throws away the kryptonite spear in disgust. And the first time I saw the film, I said afterwards, it's really out of character for Batman to discard such an important item as such, like a kryptonite spear. It's a weapon, and it's something that Batman's, done all the R&D on, and it's really important, and he wouldn't, as a detective, he's not going to just throw that aside. But when I watched it the second time, I realised a few things that I hadn't the first time, and the second time when I saw it, he throws it aside in disgust with himself. He makes a noise when he throws it aside. It's like, ugh! And it scatters across the ground, and it's just because the name Martha has awoken him to what he's about to do. He was about to murder someone in cold blood, someone who was defenseless. This isn't like fighting a goon who's aiming a gun at him or has a hostage. This is a guy who's literally under his foot, defenseless from the effects of kryptonite, and Batman was about to stab him and kill him, and he is disgusted with himself and he throws it aside. Then he asks Superman if he can be the one that rescues Martha Kent. By literally saving Superman's Martha, Batman is symbolically saving his own Martha. He's symbolically saving his mother, and it's something that obviously as a child he couldn't do, he couldn't save her, and that plays in his head. We know, as comic book readers, we know the torment that Batman goes through because of his parents. His parents' death defined him entirely, and now he's got the chance to almost redeem himself. He's got the chance to save this innocent woman who has a son who would miss her. When he says Martha won't die tonight to Superman, the second time I saw the film I choked up and I got tears in my eyes, because it's just a beautiful thing for Batman to say, Martha won't die tonight. Martha dies every night for Batman. Every innocent that Batman has saved in his 20-year career as a superhero up to now is him in some way trying to save his parents. He's trying to save someone else from having to go through what he went through. That really choked me up. And I think, like I say, a lot of people have just said, oh, it's a really weak plot point that the fight ends just because the parents have got the same name. One of their parents has got the same name. And I just feel like the point has been missed a little bit, which is not the fault of the audience goer, because like I said, the film is unapologetic about the fact that if you don't know these characters, you aren't going to follow it. So I feel like I just wanted to put out there that this is why it was such a beautiful moment, and this is why I like the film. Obviously, this is not the only reason, but there's so many points in the film like this where if you don't know the characters, you already aren't aware of their motivations and what's happened beforehand and the universe that this takes part in. You know, if you're not a comic book reader, you've got no idea what that Robin suit is that Batman walks past in the Batcave. You've got no idea about what was that guy that came back in the woke Batman up in his Batcave and warned him about some garbage about Lois. What was that? You're not going to know any of that if you're not a comic book fan. The parademons! I love how unapologetic this film is. I have a proper soft spot for anything that's sort of balls out. I don't care if you don't understand. But as a casual moviegoer who was expecting a fun, very easy to watch popcorn action superhero film, those parademons coming down and watching Batman take people out with a 45, you're going to be like, what? I don't understand. You know, the film doesn't care if you don't keep up, and I feel like that Martha point in particular was just really important, and it was for me, a very valid reason why Batman has suddenly just like turned on a dime and decided that actually I'm not going to kill Superman because this is not who I am. And it leads into more, like, the other complaints. I mean, most people have agreed that Batfleck is a beautiful Batman, and he is my Batman. He is sublime. And I'm hoping in the Justice League movies, it's going to show him becoming a hero again. The secondhand death that he causes in BvS, I'm hoping will lessen slightly as he becomes more of a hero and he becomes more about saving people again. Obviously, because the film takes such a lead from Frank Miller's Dark Knight Returns, where Batman does kill people. Batman does kill people in that comic. He shoots them. I'm happy to have a burnt-out, end-of-the-line Batman that's done, has lost all of his empathy, his hope is gone, and so this sort of second-degree, like, one-removed technical deaths that he causes, he's kind of not bothered. And I'm okay with that, because I think Zack Snyder's going to take him in the direction of he's going to get better. And I think this because he has that wake-up call with Superman. And then also, at the end of the film, when he's talking to Wonder Woman about gathering the metahumans to create the Justice League, he says, men are still good, to Wonder Woman when she makes a comment about how humans have made the world difficult to live in peacefully. I can't remember what it is exactly, but she says something like that. And Batman says, men are still good. And I think that's him talking about himself. I think he's saying, deep down, I know I can be better, and I'm going to go back to being that hero that I was, and have been for the last 20 years. And you can see there's so much, you can pick apart this film and talk about it forever. I love it. There's also the bit, like, the introduction to Batman in this film was like a horror movie. Zack Snyder is throwing you at that Batman and going, this is my Batman. I'm sorry, but this is what he's been reduced to by 20 years of crime in Gotham. He's this, like, almost supernatural, dark creature thing. He's like on a ceiling crouching and he scuttles away when the policeman aims his flashlight at him. The people that Batman has saved in this scene don't want to be near him. They are trapped and they've locked themselves in a cage because they don't want to be near the demon that saved them. That's Zack Snyder going, this is my Batman, and he is a mess. He's a mess, frankly. So the juxtaposition of that to the Bruce Wayne that we see at the end, who's saying, men are still good, and I need to gather people together. You know, that's such a juxtaposition, and I really think that we're going to see the Batman that we know. You know, he's always been dark, and he's always been angsty, but ultimately is, like, the best of us. He's going to be in the Justice League, and I think the Justice League, both parts 1 and 2, and hopefully the Batman solo film, is going to take us on a bit of a journey where we see Batman go back up to being the hero again. And I'm really, really excited about that. So I may do another video about BvS because I can talk about this film forever. I'd really like to do something I might do a video where I talk about the nightmare scene, because
when I saw that at the cinema, I was just like this. Because I love the Injustice comics. I was just so excited. So I'm really happy. I'm just so excited to see where this universe goes. If you watch this, thank you very much. I'm sorry it's just a ramble, but it was something I just needed to get out and just put my 2 cents into the money box of BvS. I just want to talk about this film and the characters and interactions and possible futures and spoilers and plots and rumours and gossip, and I just want to talk. If you want to talk about it, I am so game.